Welcome back. This is my 100th video on YouTube. I know, hold your applause. The topic for today is going to be the top 10 reissues of 2023. But first, I am doing a giveaway. And what that giveaway is going to be is the latest Craft Recordings Small Batch Series edition of Thelonious Monk's Brilliant Corners. This is number 416. In terms of the, they're like not hand numbered, but they're stamped. All right, so a couple of things up front. Why am I giving this away? Especially when you consider that, spoiler alert, this release shows up in my top 10 reissues of the year that we're going to cover in just a second. So the reason is I managed to get 2 copies. Believe me, I would not be giving this away if this was my only copy because it's a fantastic release. Also, this is not sponsored by Craft. This is not sponsored by YouTube. It's not sponsored by the Thelonious Monk estate. Why I'm giving it away instead of selling it is because subscribers, like all of you, paying attention to what I have to say in these videos is sort of what keeps me going. Well, at least subscribers as well as the views that I get of my videos, because it feeds the little bit of money that YouTube pays me from like ad revenue and stuff, which to some extent it offsets some of my monthly spend on vinyl, which is a good thing because it means that I can get the latest titles in and I can share my thoughts about them with you. So yeah, that's kind of why we're doing this. All right, so this is how this is going to work, because doing these contests are not without some complexity when you're doing them on social media. So to enter, you basically need to do 2 things, and this is free to enter. Okay, you just need to do 2 things. The first thing is if you're not a subscriber already, then please be a subscriber. So click that subscribe button, and the other is you just need to leave a comment below. And because just asking you to leave any old comment is a little bit pointless, maybe just let me know what your favorite reissue is of the year. That's it. So the window to participate starts right now. So when this video is posted, and it will end on Wednesday, December 13th at, let's just say, 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time. In the following video, or in the next video that I post, I'm going to have a random number generator that's going to help me determine which person gets to own this copy. So at that point, the winner is going to have to contact me, because not all of you all have your email addresses public like I do. If you go to my profile, you can actually find my email address. Send me a message if you want to. But in terms of the winner, they're going to need to message me. And remember, it's not like YouTube has a messaging feature. So yeah, so I will pay the shipping of this title anywhere in the world, and I'm just hoping that the winner does not reside in Antarctica. But if it ends up going outside the United States, just know that it will go using an economy shipping method. I just don't want to spend $100 shipping it to somebody. Also, interestingly enough, you all don't see my demographics, but a full 50% of my subscribers actually reside outside the United States. So there is actually a pretty good chance that I'm going to have to spend a little bit more money shipping it, but no worries. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So a couple of housekeeping items here. Let me just again show you what this is. This has been opened, okay, but I played it once. I wasn't doing any comparison with my other copy that's over here. I think I got this one in first, and I ended up opening both of them. In any event, just it's in great shape. Don't worry. There's no problems with it. It's a great copy. All right. So a couple of housekeeping items, and some of this is going to be a little bit repetitious, but I want to make sure that I'm being clear. So check the description for the official rules for this giveaway. Again, it is free to enter. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment. I will announce the winner in my next video, which I intend to post the evening of Wednesday, December 13th. It will be a regular video and not a live one, so don't worry about having to tune in or something for a specific time. Just know that you will want to watch it to find out if you're the winner. What I'll also do is I'm going to respond to the winner's comment from this video, letting them know that they won, because they'll get like an email notification if you have your notifications set up. And also know that the winner otherwise is going to need to contact me within 7 days, and let's see what else. Obviously, I'm going to need the winner's shipping address, but just know that I'm not going to use it for anything else. It really is just for the purpose of getting this record to you. And I will do my best to ship it out quickly, because I know that's important to folks. For the YouTube lawyers, know that I'm releasing YouTube of any liability related to this giveaway, and that this giveaway complies with the YouTube community guidelines, which are linked in the description. And please keep in mind that entries do not comply. The entries that do not comply with these guidelines will be disqualified. So yes, I actually did have to say all that. All right, so let's move into the top 10 reissues of 2023. All right, so let me just give you like a really short preamble, because I just gave you a lot of preamble on that contest or that giveaway. All right, so top 10 reissues of 2023. These are my top favorite jazz vinyl reissues, right? So feel free to disagree, and if there are ones that you think maybe I missed, let's put them in the comment. In fact, that can be your comment, right, for the giveaway. Know that I have not purchased and listened to every single jazz reissue of the year, so naturally my list is going to be skewed to what I did buy, right? In fact, there's a ton of reissues that were probably great and then I didn't get, either because I already have, say, an original copy, maybe I wasn't aware of it, or even though sometimes it may appear otherwise, I can't afford to buy everything, so I pick and choose, and sometimes I end up grabbing the things that maybe aren't as good, because that's just part of this hobby, right? So anyway, it's very likely that my top 10 list is not going to match yours, but I wanted to share what I think are the best reissues of the year. In a later video, I am going to talk about new music, right? So the top new music releases of the year, which is very, very different than the top reissues of the year. All right, so the rest of this video is actually going to go pretty rapid fire, and the reason why is because I think in almost every situation I did a whole video on like each of these, because I was so excited when they came out, probably knew at the time that they were going to make this list, and I made a whole video. So I'm not going to go into all the detail. I really am going to do something that is a little bit unusual for me, and that is pick up the pace. So without further ado, and by the way, these are in no particular order. Let's just run down the list again. Top 10 favorite reissues of 2023. The first one that I'm going to hold up for you is John Coltrane, A Love Supreme UHQR. So I did a shootout of this with the Acoustic Sounds version. You may remember that there's a lot of controversy when this came out, because the Acoustic Sounds 60th anniversary, what was it? No, it wasn't. I don't think it was 60th anniversary, but anyway, it was the Acoustic Sounds version that came out, like 2022, and then this year they spring a UHQR on us. So a lot of people were annoyed because they felt like they had to spend money twice. And in my conclusion, or in the conclusion of my shootout, I did say basically that if you're happy with the Acoustic Sounds, don't worry, you're not missing much, and that is true. But this is an improvement, and it sounds phenomenal, and I absolutely love this release. All right, next one up, and this is no surprise because I just mentioned that I was giving away one of the releases in my top 10. So Thelonious Monk, Brilliant Corners, right? So Craft Recordings small batch series. This sounds phenomenal. Huge improvement from my original. Some of those like Riversides are just sort of thin and not as dynamic. And so the fact that they chose it and included it, I think was amazing. All right, the next one, this is fresh in your mind as well. I almost feel bad for including some of these that I just did videos on, but when I think about the original Jazz Classics series that was introduced this year, we did get some phenomenal titles, but there's actually two that stand out, I think, above all the others. Now, I haven't heard The Cats yet, and I have high expectations for that one. I'm still waiting on a copy of that one. So anyway, wasn't able to fit it in this year's list, but Sunday at the Village Vanguard does stand out, I think, compared to some of the other OJCs that came out this year. And the next one is the other one that stood out, and that is one well, that is working with the Miles Davis Quintet. So I did a video on this, and I remember just being just shocked, but in a good way, at how fantastic this is. One of the things that's actually similar across both of these OJCs is I thought that they did such an amazing job at reproducing the covers for the folks who care about that. They just got a lot of the details right, and so yeah, very excited about OJC, and I think that that's one of those labels I think that everybody's going to be watching going forward into the next year and beyond. All right, so for a moment, I was going to include this in my box sets. I haven't actually told you that yet. I was going to end with some of the best box sets because I didn't want to treat them as like single releases in this list. So I've got like a couple of what I think are the best box sets to reference at the very end. Was going to include this, but it's basically a single release. And that is Pharaoh Sanders, right? So self-titled, originally put out on India Navigation. And here's the thing: I know a lot of you folks out there are going to be like, "But it's digital." It's like, yes, it's digital, but it sounds great. It sounds really good. And I think that this is a testament that you don't necessarily need the original master tapes. Don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people that likes it when it's not digital and when they use original master tapes. But in this circumstance, it was digital and it sounds great. And I haven't heard anybody say that it doesn't sound great. So anyway, yeah, really, really excited that Luwaka Bop decided to reissue that. They don't cover that much jazz very often, but they do seem to be the sort of the label of choice for Pharaoh Sanders or his estate, as the case may be. All right, so there was a number of releases by this label this year, and the best of the bunch for me is, so the label in question is Newland, out of the UK, and the best of the bunch for me is the John Wright Trio, Nice and Tasty. So don't get me wrong, I loved the Kenny Dorham one as well, and I made a video on that, but Nice and Tasty I think is fantastic. Yeah, it just shows what like a smaller label that gains the rights, gains the licensing to actually put out one of these releases, what they're capable of doing. I mean, this is just it's phenomenal music. It's gorgeous. I remember the first time I listened to this copy, and it like gave me goosebumps. Felt like I was hearing it again for the first time. All right, what is a top 10 list of reissues if you don't have something from Blue Note? Now, you may be surprised at the title that I chose, because I was looking back through I was looking back through the classic series releases, and I was looking back through Tone Poets, obviously, and I was thinking like, oh, Andrew Hill, because don't I kind of have to choose that one because it's like more complex, and it like says something about me as a listener or something. I actually went back and I played that title, and I played this one, and I chose this one. I really like Stanley Turrentine's Mr. Natural. Out of all the Tone Poet releases this year, I gotta say, and don't get me wrong, I know that there was Lee Morgan stuff in there, I know, and also know that I didn't get them all, right? I didn't buy a lot of the stuff that was previously released, like at the time period that it was recorded. So knowing that, I got one of these because it was a shelf session. This is still technically a reissue, but anyway, you do have Lee Morgan on this, McCoy Tyner, Bob Cranshaw, Elvin Jones, Ray Barretto, fantastic lineup. I just listened to this again, and man, it blows me away. The music is fantastic. I know that Stanley Turrentine isn't the sexiest Blue Note musician these days, but this is a solid release. Really, really excited to have that one. All right, a couple more, then we're going to shift to the box sets. So the next one, it's another Kraft small batch. So we got two this year, and I remember when Black Orpheus was announced, there was a lot of people who were like, oh, I can't believe they chose that one. Why didn't they choose whatever, right? But I am a huge Vince Guaraldi fan. I was a huge fan of this soundtrack already, and in this Jazz Impressions of Black Orpheus, which Guaraldi recorded. And when they chose it, don't get me wrong, initially I was like that's kind of an unusual choice, but listening to this thing, I get it. It is phenomenal. It's just fantastic. I know that it's not a rare title. I know you can get the original for $10, but you can't get one that sounds as good as this in that original format. You got to go for the small batch. Sounds really, really good. All right, this next one's actually a Blue Note, but not released by Blue Note. So that's kind of unusual, and this is probably going to be an unusual choice. You're going to think that it's unusual that I chose this one for the list. So, Freddy Roach's Brown Sugar. This was put out by Vinyl Me Please. I know there's a lot of VMP haters, but I think overall there's probably more people who really love what they're doing. I sort of pick and choose, right? I don't love everything, but I do think they have some great releases. In fact, I remember last year one of my top favorite reissues of the entire year, might have even been like top 3, was Ornette Coleman's The Shape of Jazz to Come. They did a fantastic job with that, and I think that they did a fantastic job with this. So they put this out in stereo. I have no idea why they were able to get the rights to put it out, but it sounds phenomenal. It's an all analog, release mastered by Ryan K. Smith, and yeah, it just sounds phenomenal. And I remember, in fact, I actually revisited my my review video of this, and one of the things that I said is that it makes me appreciate this like more than I ever did of the original because of how great this sounds. I think it sounds fantastic, and now I'm reaching for Freddy Roach more frequently, whereas like before he just kind of languished in the shelves. All right, the last one is probably, if you all watch a lot of my videos, this one's probably not going to come at a surprise, but Charles Mingus's Blues and Roots. So one of my favorite albums of all time. This is the first title that they put out in the Atlantic 75 series with acoustic sounds. It's a 45 RPM. I know there's some people rolling their eyes because of the price point. I think it's like $60, but I had to at least get this one. In fact, this is the only one I've gotten so far. And it sounds phenomenal, and it's just like very much a personal choice for me, right? Because I love the original album, and this version sounds fantastic. All right, so those are the 10. I'd be curious what your thoughts are about them. Predictable? Yeah, maybe. But here's the thing. For me, I'm picking up reissues of a lot of different stuff across a lot of different reissue labels, and it just so happens that it feels like the standouts are when they have the right people involved with the reissue, and Kraft routinely does that. VMP gets great engineers involved. Blue Note, obviously, right? So it just makes sense, at least in terms of my preferences, what I like to hear. It makes sense that it would kind of coalesce around some of these titles, and a lot of these are classics and ones that that I just think they did an exceptional job with these new reissues. And so I tend to, I don't know. I mean, I didn't want to like put together a list of the 10 most obscure that you've never heard of, because it would be disingenuous. Like, these are the ones that I really liked. These are the ones that stuck out in my mind that I continually go back to. And so that it just is what it is. So I mentioned I'm going to close out with a couple of sort of honorable mention box sets. Not honorable mention. I mean, these are like fantastic box sets and some of my favorites of the entire year. One that I have not fully digested is this Miles Davis one, and I know some of you are waiting for me to do a review video, and it is coming, but there's a lot of content here, and I'm trying to do this thing justice, so I haven't gotten to it yet, and I can't say that it's one of the best box sets yet, because even though I think that it may actually have a seat, but I can't say that for sure yet because I haven't really gone through it. So one that I wanted to pull out, though, as one of my favorite box sets of the year, and that is Dorothy Ashby's With Strings Attached. So I made a review video of this thing. I mean, you can take a look. There's a ton of bunch of albums in this thing. They all sound phenomenal. I think of particular note are, let's see, probably Dorothy Ashby's self-titled. I really liked In a Minor Groove, which was put out originally on New Jazz, and it hasn't been available for a long time. But this thing is just is phenomenal in every way. I mean, it has all the benefits of a box set in terms of the great packaging and like great feel, and it's freaking heavy. But obviously, more important than that, the music. And I just think Newland continually surprises me with their releases. They're just doing such a stellar job. So I wanted to pull that one out. Another one that I have right here that I'm going to pull out is, possibly controversially, a Vinyl Me Please box set, and that is Cadet. So they did the story of Cadet records, and this is another example, like I said before, where they they do such a phenomenal job with the actual box, with the actual, you know, packaging and everything. This thing is solid. It's hand numbered. There's great like content in here about the story of Cadet Records, and this is a little bit unusual for me to even pick up because it's not squarely jazz, right? So there's a bunch of different titles in here, but some of the things that we get that I was really excited about are Harold Land Quintet. That one's phenomenal. There's Afro Harping, so another Dorothy Ashby title. So I feel like between this one and the box set, you're kind of getting almost everything that she's put out. And yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where a couple of titles really carried the day for me in terms of determining whether I was going to pick it up. And I started getting into some of these others that I probably otherwise wouldn't have really, like some of these I'd never listened to in my life, like never heard the music. So it ended up being a great reason to actually explore, maybe be, you know, outside the confines of the stuff that I usually listen to. All right, folks, that is it. I know, I forgot all the great stuff, right? I forgot this or that. Like, let me know. Use that as your entry for this giveaway. So put it in the comments. Stay tuned for my follow-up to this, which I'm going to post Wednesday night. So if this closes, if you're allowed to sort of enter into this giveaway until, what did I say, Wednesday morning at 11 a.m., I'm going to record like a quick video of me saying who the winner is, and I'm going to post it on Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday the 13th. So stay tuned for that. All right, that's it. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time.